we are now on to evaluating functions for a given expression instead of just a given value. So what do I mean by given expression instead of given value? Something like this. So instead of evaluating f of x at x equals 2, we're evaluating f of x at x plus h. So we don't have any concrete numbers to plug in, but we can still do this. And thankfully, the first step, still the same thing. So you are writing down your original equation, which was f of x equals 4x squared plus 3x minus 2. But now you're writing it with parentheses and open spaces instead of x's. If you do notice, the spaces are a bit bigger this time because we have something bigger going into it than just a 2. So keep that in mind when you're doing this yourself. If you're putting 2 in, you don't need much space. If you're putting an expression in, or a really large number, you need quite a bit of space to fit it in. So once you're complete with this, you then want to plug in whatever your expression is. So again, we're replacing x with x plus h. So wherever there's an open parentheses, put x plus h. Now, the complicated part here is that we have x plus h squared. So, as you can see, that's the same as x plus h multiplied by x plus h, which many of you would have heard the term FOIL, which also stands for first, outside, inside, last, which that works for something getting squared, but I want you to also know the term distribute. So we are distributing x plus h onto x plus h, which when you do this, we're going to get something that looks like this. So we have x times x, x squared, x times h, xh, h times x also gives xh, and then adding h times h, which is h squared. Notice how the parentheses are still there because the 4 has not been figured in. Now when we go on to our next step, we're now distributing in the coefficients that x squared and x had before, but now they're applying to everything we have now. So we end up with this long, somewhat complicated looking formula. Now, quite a few of you will probably stop here, but there's one more step to do, and that is to combine the like terms. So we have 4xh plus 4xh. Well, if you have 4 bananas and you add 4 more bananas, you get 8 bananas. So whenever the variables are the same and in the same power, you can add the coefficients together. Again, pretty nice to know. Let's go ahead and look at another way of doing this. We're going to switch over to Desmos, which, if you watched the previous video, you should recognize how it's set up currently. Pretty similar, isn't it? Now, when you're using this program, we have to evaluate f of x plus h, close parentheses, and notice how it has the option to add a slider for h. Let's go ahead and hit that. Well, ended up hitting it twice, so let's get rid of one of those. And there are now the 2 different colors here, which, pretty nice. If you hit the symbol over here, it turns on whether it's plotted or not. Now if you look down at this slider, you can move it around. So click, hold, and drag it. And you can see that the graph is moving with it. So you can, by doing this, it should become pretty clear what the value of h is doing to the function, which we're going to be getting into that more detailed later on. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and get some practice.